our first year switchgrass that we frost seeded a year ago. As you can see, came up, but we're hoping it gets a heck of a lot thicker and a heck of a lot taller this year. And we'll see what happens. Better vantage point of that switchgrass I was just showing you. So this is a south-facing slope, maybe 2 acres total, that we're hoping is a nice little bedding area down, leading down to this kind of brushy bottom here. And then if I do a full circle, there's a nice lane that's going to be going right up to that ladder stand in the corner. So we are trying to get some bedding down here. Otherwise, you can see it's pretty flat, you know, laid over stuff, fescue, stuff like that. You can see some good trails coming out of this brush. So this could be a huge game changer if we get 2 acres worth of good cover. I am in an area that we cut 2 weeks ago with a pretty heavy TSI, and I just came in to look at the browse pressure on these buds of these trees that fell. I don't know how well you can see, but every single end is nipped. It's crazy how fast these deer find this stuff, but also how good of survival experts they are. You know, everything on the end here nipped. A little bit higher inside, you see the difference. Still got their buds. They don't want to stick their nose in there too bad. So they're picking the easy stuff first, but it's incredible. So that fed a heck of a lot of deer, this acre that we made a mess of. Just found another really good example. First, here's a good look at the TSI. This is one of our messier sides here, but pretty good access lane that deer would travel on. And take a look at this. Everything a deer can reach, nipped off, nipped off, nipped off, nipped off. Take a look at this. Here at about head height, where they can't reach, bunch of blooms, buds I should say. So pretty cool. And this is what it kind of looked like beforehand compared to this area that we did 2 weeks ago. So I went ahead in May of last year. I'm not great at identifying oaks, to be honest with you, especially when their leaves are down. So I went in May when they had their leaves and marked all the oaks so that I didn't cut down or girdle any trees by mistake that would be used to feed the habitat. So that's what you'll see all those markings for. And at the very top of the hill, I have a ladder stand, and basically we're going to be hunting it on a west wind, which is a wind that's going to be going this way. And the idea here is if a buck's traveling on November 5th in the morning looking for does, he's going to be walking, cruising right up this lane, right over my shoulder, being able to scent check this whole thicket. It's about an acre thicket, and he's going to end up at my tree stand where there's another thicket as well. So that's the trap that we are laying. We'll see how it goes. Thanks, guys. All right, why not? I'll show you the view from that stand that I was talking about. So again, upwind, if you're hunting on a west wind coming at you, there's a real thick, it's almost autumn olive and bush honeysuckle thicket over there with a nice trail along the edge. So again, buck could be cruising, coming right past my stand at 15 yards. There's a nice intersection that goes out to a food plot out there as well, and continue down this lane, and that's the lane I showed you that'll go down that hill with all that TSI right there. So again, I'll stand up for this one. That's what you're looking at, and then behind you is a real deep ravine, so that's where your wind's going to be blowing. I'm not going to say it's impossible for a deer to come this way, but I wouldn't do that if I was a deer. Pretty nasty ravine. So again, pretty flawless with the scent if you're hunting it correctly. And this is the stand I've hunted one time last year and hit my #1 target that came up right up here and bedded right about there. So didn't recover him, but that was a giant. All right, guys, enough of me rambling on here. Have a good day. There's a look at the stand from down here. So beautiful split oak tree. There's that little intersection where those two trails will meet. And there's that ravine that I don't think too many deer are using. I'm out here today. It is about March 10th, I want to say. I just wanted to evaluate what this vitalized plot looks like. And it's greening up very nicely. It's one of the first things that greens up on my farm. And the interesting test is right next door is a plot that we had in oats and rye. And again, I just try to diversify this big plot. This is about 1.5 acres total. It's about 1 acre vitalized right down this chute, and then 1/2 acre out here. So my thought was, depending on the time of season, we'd always be, you know, have a good diverse food plot system going. So you can see we have a little scrape branch right up there, 15 yards in front of the blind. But what's interesting is I came to a different plot, not this plot, yesterday, and similar thing. I had 1/2 acre in oats and rye, 1/2 acre in vitalized right next door to each other. And the most amazing thing happened. I found 6 sheds in the vitalized side. I don't mean this to be a vitalized commercial, but that was pretty funny. 6 sheds in the vitalized side and 0 in the oats and rye. So it seems like February and March, when those bucks are about to shed, they prefer the vitalized. With the bulbs, I mean, it makes more sense, you know. But I thought that was an interesting note to make. So there you go. That's my recap on the food plots here in early March. And I'm probably just going to leave these for a while. It's going to feed deer for a while as soon as it starts popping up. And then I'm going to come back, and you see that far kind of finger there. We're going to put sorghum into that and extend that over here. Basically, the intention is to try to create a nice wall effect that funnels the deer a little bit closer to our blind. You know, maybe bring the sorghum out to this line here this year and make a change. I've never planted sorghum before on our farm, so we'll see how this goes. But just always thinking, always brainstorming how I can get these deer within bow range and still produce more food. So thanks for listening, guys.